Guys, happy Monday. The playoffs are set. Man, so much to get to. I want to spend a minute, just a couple minutes, on the Maryland game yesterday. Man, Maryland is they're just roller coaster ride. It's always a roller coaster ride in college basketball. I get that. Very rarely do you get a game like Kansas dominated yesterday, just won by 40, 50 points, and there's no back and forth, especially on the road, especially against a really good team like Oregon. But Maryland jumped off to a great start again, leading in the first half. It really could have been leading by more, but whatever. They're up by 3 at the end of the first half, and then they get bulldozed in the beginning of the second half. They fight all the way back, and Oregon is just a really fundamentally sound team. A lot of seniors, and just our sense of urgency on defense is not quite there. Oregon made a couple tough shots, and yeah, we fell short. We just fell short. I still really like this Maryland team. I'm high on them. Going through these games, tough losses on the road. They got to win one of these games before the tournament starts in order, to know what it's like to win outside of their home environment. But yeah, overall tough game to lose, but Oregon's a really good team. So takeaway is everything's fine. They get UCLA, I believe, on Friday. So in the midst of all the football, there'll be plenty of Maryland content for me. Love watching this team. Derek Queen's fantastic. They just have to get a little bit better on defense and defensive rebounding by the time the tournament starts. All right, let's go through all these games. Woo! You got to start last. You got to start with last night. So we'll do the NFC first, and we'll start with last night. The Lions, they dominated. I thought they were going to dominate, and then the beginning of the game, I thought I was on the wrong side of it. Those first couple of possessions, I thought the Vikings, excuse me, I thought they were doing a good job on the defensive line, controlling the line of scrimmage. They were tackling well. They were getting pressure against Goff. And then Darnold could not convert in the first half. I mean, Justin Jefferson is so good that when you miss him as many times as Darnold was missing him, it was alarming. It was like the old Sam Darnold, and he just could not connect with Jefferson. They didn't score enough points. And then at the end of the first half, they allowed the Lions to get that field goal. And you had a feeling that when the Lions got that field goal at the end of the first half, it was a bad sign for the Vikings. And sure enough, it was. It was 17-9 at one point, but then the Lions just put the game away. So Lions roll over the Vikings. They get the 1 seed, and it's a really tough matchup for the Vikings now. Vikings are going to head to Los Angeles. That's the Monday night game that they played earlier this year. O'Connell going up against McVay. They were best friends. I think O'Connell was the OC when the Rams won the Super Bowl. So there's a lot. There's a lot going on in that game. My early read on it is I hated the way that Vikings finished the game yesterday. Going against Los Angeles, the Rams are really dynamic in the passing game. I know that's the strength of the Vikings, but if they're able to get Puka going and they can control the ball, Darnold looked just shot yesterday. He just looked jerky, like he just nervous back there. Really bad sign for the Vikings. They're favored by 2.5 against the Rams. I, I don't know. I don't know. Campbell's quoted after the game, the Lions coach, telling the Vikings coach that he was going to see him in 2 weeks. I think he would prefer to, because if the Rams win that game against the Vikings, Rams go back to Detroit. They lost there on Sunday night to start the season, first week of the year, barely. The Rams are. I like the way it's set up for the Rams. They get the Vikings, and then they would get to go to Detroit as the underdog. Stafford back in Detroit. So on that side of the bracket, I think it does shape up well for the Rams to potentially get that upset against the Lions in the divisional round. And I like the Rams over the Vikings. I don't know if I'll bet it because that Vikings team's a pain in the ass to bet against, but the Rams are going to get pressure on Darnold, and if you can get pressure on them on the road, it's not going to be the same environment that it was in Detroit. So that a lot to think about there. But my initial read is I like the Rams. In the NFC South, oh, thank God that played out the way it did with the Panthers winning over the Falcons as the Buccaneers are trying to give me a heart attack. So the Bucks beat the Saints. The Saints really should have won that game. A couple of really bad penalties, and the Bucks made a couple of great catches in the fourth quarter. Saints had to settle for a bunch of field goals. Bucks get the win. They get the 3 seed, which way better. Instead of the Vikings or the Packers, they're going to get the Commanders. I love the Bucks. They're -3.5 against the against the Commanders. The game was going so weird. They weren't blocking well. They took Daniels out, and then Mariota comes back and he wins the game for them. I just think Washington won their Super Bowl the week before when they won on Sunday night. Excuse me, against the Falcons. That felt like their Super Bowl for the year. I think Tampa rolls them. I don't think Washington will be competitive in that game. Just too many moving parts for Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterback. Um, I don't like it at all. That's the Sunday night game. I think the Bucks, by screwing up against the Saints, they'll be much more pay attention to detail, clean up some of the things, and they're just a better team than Washington. So I think the spread reflects that. 3.5. I don't love it. Probably buy it down to 3, but I do like Tampa there. And the Falcons, they found their quarterback. They definitely found the quarterback. Penix is good. I watch a lot of that game. He's good. Bijan Robinson's good. That's why they need to sign Kirk Cousins. They could have spent that money in other places and they would be in the playoffs because they're a pretty good team, but they just have too many holes that, like I said, they could have cleaned up in this offseason. I don't know what they do with Kirk Cousins. They don't have any cap room, so they're kind of stuck. They got to pay Bijan. Drake London is really good. I mean, I don't know where he ranks with all these receivers, but he's got to be in the top 15. He just really just great target, great hands. Penix was looking to him all game. So the Falcons have a decent foundation to build on, but I don't know if they have the right coach. And the Panthers have a decent foundation. Bryce Young really good yesterday. Panthers offensive line gave him a lot of time. Both those teams, it was a very entertaining game. But yeah, the Falcons go down. So the NFC South is set up the way it is. Mentioned how the Commanders beat the Cowboys, ugly game, but they did it. Eagles held on to beat the Giants. That's a 2-7 game in the NFC. The Packers lose to the Bears in dramatic fashion. It wasn't going to matter because Washington won, but that was a crazy ending. Bears tried to lose the game. Then Caleb came back and won the game for them on a late kick. I don't like this matchup at all for Green Bay. Jordan Love got hurt. They played week 1. I just think I've done a 180 on Philly. I mean, the defense, I can't get away from it. The defense is just really good. It's a great matchup for them against the Packers. I imagine the Packers season is just kind of over with, just the way, Love got hurt. They don't seem to have any momentum. Lost the last 2 games, lost to Minnesota, got to go to Philly. I like the Eagles. I don't know if I'll bet that, but my initial thought, -5. I do like Philly. On that side of the bracket, I would like the Bucks going to Philly. I would like the Bucks there. If the Packers do, though, beat Philadelphia, they'll go to Tampa and win that game. That'll be a good matchup for Green Bay. Green Bay against Tampa. Green Bay is just a better version, I think, of Tampa. Tampa beat Philly earlier in the year, and then Baker would be the underdog at Philly. Kind of a nothing to lose environment. The defense shut out Philly last time. That would be tough for Philly. I would see potentially the Bucks winning that. But the way I have it right now is the Rams at Philly for the NFC Championship. And that would be a great game. I'd probably lean towards the Rams. I think that's my pick right now for the NFC is the Rams coming out of there. If they get through the Vikings, I like that matchup for them at the line. So I do like the Rams. If I went the other way, I could see the Bucks getting there. I don't know. I'm favoring more of those 2 teams, the Rams and the Bucks, than I am the Lions or the Eagles. So that's my read on the NFC. Woo, okay, AFC. Got what we wanted. Ravens get the Steelers Saturday night. Perfect. As long as you have Amazon Prime, I guess it's perfect. You can go somewhere and watch it. But yeah, Saturday night, Ravens get Pittsburgh. What a gigantic spread. If you're a Ravens fan, don't do that to yourself. Like, just bet the money line with a parlay with something else, but do not do a teaser. Definitely don't give the 8.5 points. Don't make yourself crazy because just win the game and enjoy it would be my message because I think we win this game. We should win this game. I don't like that we're such a big favorite. That just automatically makes me think Tomlin's got extra material for Pittsburgh. Can't wait to watch Hard Knocks, that's for sure. Although I don't know if they'll do the playoffs. Probably not. But anyway, it's perfect. It's what we want. We get Pittsburgh at home instead of the Chargers. And then we get to avoid the Chiefs. You get to play the Bills in the next round. Then you get to play the Chiefs. I know some people might rather get Kansas City off the bye before they get going. I don't want to play Andy Reid off the bye. I'd rather go to Buffalo. So it all worked out the way we want. Buffalo is going to most likely beat Denver. But hey, you never know. Maybe Denver sneaks in and gets that win. If they do, we get the home game, so that'd be great. But even if Buffalo wins that game, I think it's a perfect spot for us. We get to be the underdog going to Buffalo, and Lamar would have already won this playoff game. It's this playoff game. It's this first quarter that is going to stress me out all week thinking about, because Pittsburgh is going to do a couple of trick plays, and then they're going to just pound that football. It's going to be a couple of trick plays slash just bombs to Pickens if he can get his head on straight, and then just pound the ball, pound the ball, pound the ball. Russell Wilson's going to run a lot. They're going to play this game like they're 8.5-point underdogs. So the Ravens have got to just put their foot on their neck early, put the Steelers in 3rd and 9s, and suffocate them, and make what's now turned into like the best secondary in the NFL. It's like the best defense all of a sudden. What a great addition by having Dean Pease come in there 4 or 5 games into the season. He's obviously has helped out. But I think what's helped the most is just the commitment to changing the philosophy, having our Darius back there with Hamilton and putting Williams on the bench. It allows, when you're coaching and you bench one of the best players, it's either going to make everybody play way better or you lose the locker room, because either everybody basically agrees and it's like, hey, we're kind of better without that guy. Like he's doing too much. He thinks he's Ed Reed. He's not Ed Reed. Or it's like, fuck, the coach has an ego problem. The coach just doesn't like him. Can't believe he's benching that guy. I call that the Malcolm Butler situation, where the Patriots, they didn't buy into that. So the defense played so bad because of it. It seems like the Ravens defense is bought into Marcus Williams makes us a worse team. So without him, we're better because everybody's playing better. The coverage on the outside is just great. Marlon Humphrey, what a revelation. I was killing him last year. I know I wasn't the only one. He's been fantastic. Van Noy is a revelation as a leader on a defense. Just kind of hard to figure out how he's bounced around from a couple of different teams, because he's great. And Roquan's still, him and Kyle Hamilton are still your best players. So they have a really good balance. Matt Buke's in there. I mean, Pierce, gosh, what a great play that was, obviously. And just having his presence, I heard Van Noy talk about after the game that when Pierce is in the lineup, it makes everybody feel better. I guess so, because you can't block him by yourself. Everybody gets singled up on the outside. Pittsburgh cannot beat us. Only the Ravens can beat the Ravens. Let's just hope that is not the case with Henry and Lamar. They seem like they're on a mission. I got the Ravens winning. I got Buffalo beating Denver fairly easily. I think people want to take the Broncos. I get it. But the Bills, they haven't looked good to finish out the year. But the defense for Buffalo is going to be frustrate Denver enough that even if the Bills' offense is a little slow to get started, I don't think Denver scores enough. Obviously, I got that game wrong yesterday. They dominated the Chiefs. Once they got up 14-0, the game was over. Chiefs just they didn't want to be there. So I was really wrong about that game. I get that, but I don't think I'm wrong about Denver when they go up against a talented defense. I think they'll have a lot of trouble. They'll end up in 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, and they can't win that way. So I do like Buffalo, and I think the Ravens will beat the Bills. I think it's meant for the Ravens to get back to Kansas City and face the Chiefs. The Chiefs will end up playing either the Chargers or the Texans. I would say the Texans winning yesterday was the best thing that could happen for them. They're in a good mood. I don't want to bet this game because I just don't – I don't want to bet against either quarterback or either coach. Excuse me, either. Whoa, lost my voice there. I don't want to bet against either coach or quarterback in that matchup. Excuse me there. Harbaugh and D'Amico Ryans are 2 of my favorite coaches, and Herbert and Stroud are 2 of my favorite quarterbacks. Chargers being favored by 3. I would lean towards the Texans getting 3 points because I think it can go either way. I think the Texans' defense is just as good as the Chargers' defense. Stroud, Herbert, pretty much have the same problem, whether or not the offensive line is going to hold up in pass pro. I do like the Texans running backs. I lean Texans there, but I think it can go either way. 3 points makes me lean Texans, but I'll leave it alone. Either team wins, it's going to be a dogfight, and I just don't think they have the horses to beat the Chiefs this year. So I think the Chiefs will win, and it's either Allen or Lamar heads to Kansas City. It just feels like it's already written that way. As long as we beat Pittsburgh, I think we get there. So that is my take with everything for the playoffs. No football tonight. We got just a break, I guess, for no football tonight. We got the what's it Notre Dame Penn State on Thursday, and then Texas Ohio State on Friday. Chargers and the Texans on Saturday at 4:30, and then the Ravens Steelers Saturday night. Then the three games on Sunday. Buffalo is the first game, Philly is the second one, Tampa's at night, and then the Vikings Rams is Monday night. So everything's all set. Good luck. I would encourage everybody, if you're betting on these games, bet futures. Like if there's one or two teams you like outside the lines or the Chiefs, bet them now. See if you can get into the NFC or AFC Championship game, and then you can hedge your bet. That's always the best value for the NFL playoffs. So yeah, I'll break them down more tomorrow and the next couple of days. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Good luck if you're betting basketball. I'll have J Mart on here tomorrow. And yeah, have a good day. I know you guys got a bunch of snow, so be safe. If you're home, then enjoy it. If you have to be out, then yes, please be safe. And I'll see you guys in the morning. Take care.